Before we get started with the drive, I want to thank our sponsor, Tezlab. You know about Tezlab, I've spoken about them before. It's an extremely powerful, useful application that goes alongside your Tesla. It gives you a whole lot of visibility into your vehicle, your driving efficiency, supercharger locations, their bathrooms, the restaurants, and so much more. However, now they've launched a new feature, a feature that essentially allows you to offset the CO2 emissions from your charging sessions by planting trees. It's pretty ingenious to think of that in that format and add it to an already existing powerful application and tool. This new feature actually reads from your local utility to determine where the energy is coming from, and then calculates your carbon impact. So you can choose whether you want to offset that carbon impact by a little bit or fully and plant however many trees you want to that. They're doing all this by teaming up with One Tree Planted. So it's kind of cool how Tezlab has added this into their app. And essentially, this is just helping advance our transition into sustainable energy, which is something that I strongly believe in, and hopefully you do too. So if you're interested, check out Tezlab. I'll put a link to them down below. I mean, it's a free tool. Why not use it and get the most out of your vehicle, the way you drive, your efficiency, and offset your carbon impact. Take a look at Tezlab. Now, back to our drive. One more thing before we get started with the video. One thing that I've kind of laughed at previously and I've come to really appreciate and love are these pillows. Some of you guys have noticed them, but they're actually really comfortable, especially when I'm doing stuff like this and I'm letting the car drive. Like, it allows me to just kick my head back and relax. You do have to recline your seat back a little bit to adjust for them, but man, are they comfortable and amazing. The reason why I bring them up is because we're doing a giveaway. We're gonna actually give away a free pair of these headrests to one of you guys. So all you have to do is make sure that you like this video and leave a comment down below on how much you drive and how this would be a game changer for you, and whatever else you think about today's video. And we're gonna choose a lucky winner at random. All right, now to the drive. Alright, so these next set of clips were all filmed in Sausalito, California. We went out as a family to enjoy the day. And what I want to highlight was, look at how the vehicle is mindful to bicyclists. It shifts over, gives bicyclists a little bit of room by hugging the left-hand side of the lane. And I just thought that was super cool watching it do that. This is a town with a lot of bicyclists. Now in this scene, we were in a lane that was a shared bike lane as well. And so obviously the vehicle has to stay behind the bicyclists. At one point, it thinks it can go around, realizes that it cannot, adjusts itself to go behind the bicyclists again while still avoiding the bicyclists on the side of the road, and then waits for, I adjusted the speed here, waits for an opportunity where the lane gets wider and bigger, where it can pass the bicyclists. That was really, really cool. And I thought was a pretty complex maneuver there. So overall, really well done. Especially in this town where just so many people out and about and moving around. Now in this scene, we were leaving and I turned on full self-driving in the parking lot, and it's navigating through this parking lot perfectly. No issue, no problem. Remember, there's no lane markings here, and it's going through just perfectly fine. It will observe this stop sign. Keep in mind, there's still people moving around. There's a woman right here across the street. And so just, being cautious, stopping, observing, and then making the turn. Just going to adjust the speed a little bit here, and then proceeding through. Now, at this four-way stop was incredible. You've got cars, you've got people, you've got bicyclists, you've got people walking their dogs, and watch how full self-driving handles this. Watch this. The cars turn, okay, then it sees an opportunity time that it can proceed. It sees the bicyclist coming by, and it starts to go, but realizes the car on the left has begun. So it waits, allows that vehicle to go, and then proceeds while observing cars to the left, cars to the right, the woman with her dog, everything. It's just incredible the amount of calculations that had to go on at that intersection. Now over here we've got a flashing red
stoplight. You've got bicyclists, you've got people turning, kind of a little bit dangerous there the way that car was turning, but you'll see here the car on the left goes. It did require me to acknowledge to proceed forward, and I do. And even while doing that, a car from the left still turned out and full self-driving observed and continued on a safe manner. Really, really well done. Now, this was a scene that I had done before where I need to make a left and then almost an immediate right. Previously, the vehicle stayed in the left-hand lane, which is the innermost turning lane, but it's not ideal for making that right that's going to come after this turn. Here, we've seen an improvement in this software where now it's staying in the right turning lane, thus putting it in the best place to make the right turn. Now here I did need to press the accelerator to proceed forward, and something weird happened here. The vehicle decided to all of a sudden merge into the left lane after the turn, which is really weird. So I went ahead and captured that data, kicked it back into autopilot, and then now you'll see it make this right turn. Now this right turn we've done before, and what we've noticed before is that it doesn't, you see there's a lot of room over there on the right to make the right turn, and it doesn't go over there. It actually makes it looks like we're going to go straight, and it's going to turn from here. Now, we could have turned by now. We could have been going on our way, and it still has not turned. So now it turns, and it turns from out this lane, and there could be somebody turning in on the inside lane. So that's still an improvement that needs to be made, so I'll go ahead and capture that as well. All right, so now we're in a residential neighborhood, and what I wanted to highlight here is this is just a right turn in a residential neighborhood, but it proceeds to stop here for some odd reason, and I've seen it do this multiple times in residential neighborhoods where it's not a T intersection where vehicles could be coming from another direction. It's just a simple right or left turn, or a simple right turn, and it just doesn't do it. So here we go again. It just needs to make a left. There's nowhere else to go. There's no oncoming cars, but it comes to a complete stop here. There's no stop sign either. So I've seen this happen so many times. It's strictly in residential. Another improvement that Tesla needs to make in the full self-driving software. Now, in this scene, this is a very narrow road. There's really not even a sidewalk, yet there are people walking here on the right-hand side. You'll see full self-driving proceed with a lot of caution and actually merge out. Look at that. It's over the bumps on the road, and then it goes back into its lane, thus allowing room for the people who are walking. Now, this lady was already walking way out, so we didn't have to move over for her. But for the other family, that was really a nice maneuver. Now, here you'll see we're proceeding at 40. A vehicle turns out. Instead of it phantom braking, it only just dropped it a little bit just to be cautious of that vehicle that was crossing. And then it proceeded. So that was nice, as opposed to, the past where we would experience a phantom brake. Here it handled that very well. Now, in this scene, the left lane is merging into the right, and there's a car to my left. It passes to merge in front of me, but my vehicle decides to slow almost to a stop, down to like 12 miles an hour. So I had to hit the accelerator and help it continue on. I don't know why. There was nothing around. There was no speed limit decrease, no stop signs. So I'm going to capture that so that Tesla can see that and make adjustments where necessary. Don't know why it did that, but there was nobody behind me, so it was still in a safe manner. Now, in this situation here, we need to make this left turn. There's oncoming traffic, so we're being observant of the oncoming traffic. After these two pass, there's a mail truck that's coming, but we've got plenty of space, so the Tesla does make the turn in a safe and quick manner. And it's going to go around this bend here. There is a speed bump, and I believe it will slow down here. You'll see it drop from 20 down to, I think, almost 15. Yep. And then now what's upcoming here is a very tricky intersection. Number one, we have to make a left turn at an intersection with cross traffic. And then we have to make an almost immediate right. So it needs to get over to the extreme right lane. So we come here to the stop, and it's had trouble with this turn in the past. So let's see if it's improved. No one coming to my left, no one coming to my right. We go ahead and proceed through this left turn, and then it needs to get over to the right, and it does. It merges over. Now, we are sitting in between two lanes. It's because there's really not enough space here. If I were driving, I could have been a little bit more aggressive and merged in a little bit more, but it's okay. There's no one behind me, and as soon as these cars move up a little bit, it will continue to merge over and make its way over to the right lane, thus being able to make a successful, easy right turn without a problem. That was really, really well done, unlike in the past. So a good improvement. All right, in this scene, we're coming up on some railroad crossings, and I haven't seen this happen before, but all of a sudden, this time, I'm taken all the way down from 30 miles an hour down to 10, 8, 5, 2, 1, to a complete stop at a railroad crossing. Now, there was nobody behind me or around me, so I let the Tesla do its thing. But yeah, that was not how it should have behaved. So I went ahead and captured that. We should not be coming to a complete stop at railroad crossings unexpectedly like that. So it's never done that. Now, coming up ahead, what you're going to notice is we need to go straight, yet we're in the right-hand turn lane. This has been the behavior on previous builds, so I wanted to see if this has been fixed. It looks like it hasn't. It needs to go straight. It reads that this is a right turn lane, but yet it stays in the right turn lane. And what's weird here is you can see it plotting out on the map to go straight, yet it can't go straight. We're in a right turn lane. There's only one lane going straight, and the cars to the left of me are going to be the ones going straight. So you'll see here when the light turns green, it actually tries to go straight, and I have to correct it and adjust it. So now, here again, similar situation. This is a right turn lane. We need to go straight. Now here, it merges over to that lane to go straight. So that was good, but it should start in that lane. It should already be defaulted into that lane instead of making a last second maneuver. Now coming up is the scene of the first roundabout that I ever did that it has always failed. I believe it fails this because it is a sloped roundabout. There's not a curb. The outside of the roundabout is not a curb. The inside is. And it's always gone over the roundabout. In this instance, this is the first time it has done this roundabout successfully, perfectly. Now there's another roundabout coming over here, and it has always failed these roundabouts by going over the roundabout because it's not really a curb. It's sloped. So now on this second roundabout, we'll see it's going to slow down. It's going to observe. It's going to enter the roundabout cautiously. And here again, just like with the first roundabout, it proceeds to do it perfectly. So it really shows that this now has been fixed as of the latest software. It can complete these roundabouts. Now I'm going to go back around and try the roundabout again. And in this scene, on this roundabout, we're going to make it go 3/4 of the way around the roundabout. And I do want to highlight something that's happening here. You see the vehicle going all the way to the right because there's no curb and there's no lane marking. So this is a flaw that I see, is that when there's only one lane marking, it should hug that left lane marking. Otherwise, you could go off into a ditch on the right-hand side, which is what I was experiencing there. Here we go on the roundabout again. We're going to go 3/4 of the way around. We're essentially going to make a left turn. Just checking this full roundabout to make sure it can do it fully successfully now. And look at that. What do you know? It has got this roundabout perfectly. And that's what I'm talking about right there. Good job, Tesla, with the updates here to perfect this roundabout that has always been an issue with full self-driving. Now, as we're coming back to this roundabout, you don't have to enter the roundabout to make the right. It actually has its own right kind of turnout lane, which, hey, it followed and did it perfectly. It's a little bit of a rough road there, but it did it perfectly. What I want to highlight is after this turn. You'll see what I was talking about earlier. We've got a lane marking to our left. We've got no lane markings to our right. and there's essentially no curb, or the lane just looks very, very wide. And because of that, you'll see the Tesla's steering wheel start to go left and right and essentially go in and out. And you'll see here, I need to adjust. So what I'm noticing here is that when you've got one lane marking that's not visible and the vehicle cannot center itself, I think Tesla, what they should do is actually choose to hug the inside lane. I think that would be a much safer maneuver, and you'll see another example coming up right here. So in this example, the vehicle decides to get into the right lane. It should have stayed in the left lane. What you're going to see happen here is that the right lane is going to essentially disappear. And this lane is going to get really wide, but that right lane is going to go into dirt. So it should be over into the left. You'll see the merge markings. And ideally here, what happens is now the lane looks huge when it really isn't. You should be on the left-hand side and not the right-hand side. If you stay in the right, you're going to end up in the ditch, or you're going to end up hitting that gentleman there. It probably would not have hit the gentleman, but this is why it needs to hug the inside left lane. Now here we're going to make a left turn, waiting for an empty opportunity. Here's a great opportunity, but it's a little slow to the turn, and I let it keep going, and it gets really close to that truck, a little bit too close for me. I felt a little uncomfortable there. I did not disengage, but my foot was very close to hitting the brake pedal. It made the turn, but it was a little close. Okay, in this example, we need to make a left here at this light. We need to make a left. We need to make a left. Get over there. Okay, it's not. Okay. So we almost hit that island there. I don't know why it didn't get over to the left lane. We're mapped perfectly. Let me capture that. And so Tesla has that feedback there. That was very weird. Interesting. All right, here. I like how it immediately moved over to the right-hand turning lane. Immediately it was available. This is a fairly large intersection, so here we go. We're slowing down. We're observing the entire intersection, cars that are coming. There are people across the road. We can see them on our visualization, waiting for an open opportunity, and then proceeds perfectly in a nice, clean manner. That was a really good turn. All right, so here we've got a bicyclist in the right-hand lane. It's signaling. The Tesla moves behind it in a safe manner, waits for them to move out of the way, and then proceeds perfectly. Man, the Tesla really knows how to be polite to bicyclists and watch for them on the road. I really like that. Yeah, that was a very nice maneuver. Now, in this intersection here, you'll see two of us come to the stop. The other vehicle is going to go first, and then the people that are crossing the road actually flag us on, and we make our right turn. So that's another example of kind of like a multi-stop, where the Tesla just basically waits its turn or wait for an optimal time to go. Now, in this residential area, you'll see that same example as earlier. We need to make this right. It's just a clean right. Go ahead and make it. But it comes to a stop. I don't understand that. It's really, really weird. Bugs me, especially when I'm coming to my house, because I've got like two of them, and I really don't need it to be coming to a stop. It should just go right through. There's no oncoming traffic to be. All right, in this example, you see those dotted lines right there? That indicates that you can get over into the right shoulder to make this right turn. I know some of you guys had said, well, that lane is technically, you can't turn from that lane, but when it gets dotted, you should be able to go over there and make the turn from the lane. You'll see in this example, it made that right turn from the lane that was meant to go straight. So not my favorite way of doing things, not how I would do it naturally. Now, here we go. We're making this right turn here. So we get over to the right lane. We are watching for oncoming traffic. And then we decide to go. But there is still oncoming traffic coming. So it said it was creeping forward, but it seemed to me that it was going to continue to go. So I took over and I intervened there because I didn't feel like it was going to stop. Let me go ahead and capture that as well. All right, so in this example, this is another example where the lane is huge. The curb and the other lane marking is way out there. And so the Tesla decides to start getting a little wishy-washy here until the lane marker comes back, and then it centers itself. Again, the lane gets large, and it starts to wishy-washy. Now, if it were to hug the left-hand side, we would be good, and we wouldn't get some of this, weaving in and out. So I went ahead and recorded that. Hopefully, Tesla's able to see that and make those changes in the next software update. Should just be hugging the left-hand side of the lane. I think that's the safest bet. And I think most lanes are standard size, so yeah. All right, so now in this next example, there is a side road. Previously, the Tesla would get confused. So you'll see here it slows down. It thinks about it, but it knows that that's not the road that it needs to make a right on. It goes up to the main intersection and knows that this is where it needs to make the right and proceeds. That is an improvement from previous builds. Now here you'll see we're at a two-way stop, and technically I stopped first and I should proceed. However, the Tesla waits, and since the other gentleman decided to move, the Tesla waited for him to clear and then proceeded. So it's not exactly how we humans interact, which is who stopped first. In this case, it waits for that optimal time when there's no movement for it to take the opportunity to say, yep, it is now my turn, and proceed in a safe manner. It's interesting, and it works. I have not had a problem with that style of thinking. Now, in this example, we're at a blind left turn. This is where oncoming traffic, like that gentleman in front of us, I would need to yield for him to go straight before I make my left turn. So this will be interesting. I have not experienced this. I've seen others experience this. And so here we go. It's going to turn green. He's actually not going straight. He's making a left. So we don't actually have to yield. But here's another truck. He's making a left. So we don't actually have to yield. But yet the vehicle communicates that it's waiting for its turn. So it does the same thing like a four-way stop. Waits for a safe time to go, and there's no oncoming traffic, for it to actually make the turn. So it's really cool to see it making these decisions where it can't exactly think like a human, but it's using another style of thinking that's still safe and makes these maneuvers possible. Very, very intelligent. So I think out of this video, what we saw is that Tesla's full self-driving beta is still doing some amazing maneuvers and some really intelligent thinking. But just to what Elon said is sometimes full self-driving is going to take 2 steps forward and is going to take a step backwards. And there's going to be some things that maybe are not perfect. And that just goes to show you that it highlights that this is still a beta software. It's full self-driving beta for a reason. This is why we're testing it. This is why we're providing feedback. We're trying to make it better. We're trying to get it to a state where everyone can receive it, utilize it, and have it in a even safer manner. So, a lot of work gets into, making these videos and making these drives and recording it all and editing it all together. So to share these interactions with you guys, to share these interactions with Tesla so they can learn and improve the software. Here's hoping we can get full self-driving even further along, even better, and out to the masses soon. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.